Hey YouTube fam, how you be? This particular person that this reading I've drawn is meant for is someone who has not only been disassociating a lot, but who has it's either your childhood or just your life, so much of the input you've received from others has really tainted your reservoir, your well of which to draw from, whether it's energy, wisdom, whatever the heck, right? So it's really toxified your ability to have a true sense of self. Hence, constant disassociation. I feel like many of us don't realize when we're spending our days daydreaming, you're disassociating. That's a form of it, right? Things are different for everyone, right? And you don't have to agree with me, by the way. You never have to agree with me. It's okay. But this person has really, at least in the past, no, because this one's pointing to the future. When it comes to these archetype cards, we have the self that's pointing to the past, and we have the destroyer, who's not only pointing to the future, this archetype, because it's going to the right, which to me personally, when I'm doing readings, speaks of the future. Because us humans love to make everything so linear. But it's kind of boop, boop, so it's almost reversed. So that's kind of telling me that this is a work in progress and you're figuring it out. But an aspect, I can't remember if this is actually the one in the book, but it's what it's making me think of right now. So we're rolling with it, right, fam? That's how we do when it comes to these readings. It's making me think of that part when they mention how people can use things like fire to enable regeneration. Like think of like the dump, where all the garbage is and stuff. That's meant to be a controlled thing. Sometimes firefighters will try to do a controlled burn on something to kind of wipe through whatever's going on so that regrowth can come in and be better than ever, right? In theory, that's more so the vibe I'm getting from that. It's a bit more of a violent transformation, the scarier side of the tower vibe, right? But this is the idea of someone having it in their head that they were always in the wrong, that they were the ones messing up, that they were the failure, they were silenced, essentially. And because they weren't doing anything wrong, it was just a crummy environment that they were growing up in. It was just a crummy environment with crummy people surrounding them. But it, you know, it's what you know and such. So because the temple is the card on the bottom, and that is facing the past. That is a lack of knowing how. To me, I can't help but think of the temple as our bodies. You know what I mean? It's not so much where we are when we're praying, when we're doing a spiritualness. You know what I mean? Because that energy, that sacredness is always within us, right? It's just some of us were raised on McDonald's. Stuff like that, you know, or hops. This feels like someone's version of survival mode. To not only isolate, but if it's in your mind, then it's a form of isolation. You're binging shows on streaming services. You're just, you know, we're always on the right path, true, but you're just disassociating. And the thing about that, all of that is it brings into mind what they say about soul contracts. Loud vehicle number 1. And the things that we unfortunately must go through to build that strength and that resiliency so that we can gain the wisdom that enables us. I like to think this is how I sleep at night, you know, enable it anyway. I like to think that so that we can, for lack of better words, get it out of our system, Because think about that connectedness that we have with one another and going through our lives, dealing with coworkers, dealing with our families and such, right? Hurt hurts. So how would we be? What kind of energy must we be putting out when we're happy? When we feel fulfilled and content with ourselves and our lives, right? And the thing about that is I feel like a lot of times when we're younger, the things that we're bullied on, the things that people try to silence us on, the things that people try to make us think we do, and that's all that we're capable of, when it's all pure bullshit, that can be like, when I was younger, I was told I was too sensitive, I was too nice, and I needed to toughen up. And the only thing that I could ever think of was, why don't you get on my level? Just admit you're a douche nozzle and we can all move on. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be difficult. For me, the bar isn't all that high if I'm the example. I'm just vibing. You know what I mean? I kind of consider myself pretty neutral most of the time, because it could go either way. You know, I would like high vibrations, but I'd also, part of that is not assuming the worst, not expecting the worst. This is, I mean, right now, I'm creeping on 50, my dear, like, life. Life. There is a zooming cat. Oh, no. If you know, you know. Oh, hello. Kona, my goodness. She's jumping like a bunny. What are you doing, you silly kitty? She's like, oh, you got this going on. Never mind. And she's off to terrorize the rest of the room. Okay, moving on. The thing about, you know, the bullying and stuff when you were a kid, think about those particulars and how it affected you. Now looking back, can you see how those were the things that were meant to enable you to shine? That were meant to be a part of you that, it's like, think about how we can inspire people, or if we're too busy comparing ourselves to others, then we're dealing with things like jealousy and stuff like that, which is just unnecessary. There's a part in the book for this card that says, basically, they don't want you to know how powerful you are, because your potential is limitless. Completely limitless. And I feel like that's the vibe of the time that we're living in right now, with the planets planeting and all that stuff. So I refuse to just exist. I'd rather shoot and miss. So I'm going to raise my fist and live it limitless. And this is the bottom of the deck for the Oracle deck. Justice is coming. This could mean, you know, if you did something, then, you know, take it with grace. Learn, like the Hanged Man, enlightenment while we're here in this little whatever moment that we kind of caused ourselves, right? But that's not how it feels to me. It feels like, don't worry about it. Whoever wronged you is dealing with it. This has become, or is such a time of reckoning for so many people. Either you are growing and trying to evolve and performing alchemy with retraining your subconscious how to be nice to yourself, practicing that self-love and nurturing yourself the way you've been trying to nurture others your whole life and stuff, right? And accepting that for yourself. Or nah, right? When we move to the tarot for some clarification, it becomes a little bit clearer in the now, right? We do start off with the Two of Swords, which is the Never Again card by my standards. But my question to you is, if it's because of pain and the like that's making it difficult for you to open back up, because the problem is you've closed yourself off. You've not only closed yourself off possibly to the things you never want to experience again, but from all of the wonderful things that you could be experiencing instead. Because it's just, it's a form of self-isolation not unlike the Eight of Swords. With that person on the beach all tethered with the swords all around them. They're really not that far from each other. They've just got the whole suit between them. But you know what I mean, right? Right? Or this can be a never again, because I can smell bullshit coming from a mile away and I'm on to you. I don't even need to see you. I can sense you and I can swerve or something. You know what I mean? It's more, I'm not going to be fooled by the illusions of this material world anymore. I've learned how to trust my intuition. All of this wisdom has taught me to not give so much crap about the material world. So, no more of that. We learn from positive experiences now. You know what I mean? Which one resonates? Because underneath that card came the Page of Pentacles, served on a golden platter. So I feel, seeing as how the rest of this reading is going, is that you have figured that out. That difference for the Two of Swords, right? You may still be struggling a bit with certain decisions, but I feel like the things that you may at this point be worried about, they haven't even happened yet. You know what I mean? They haven't even happened yet. So it becomes more about, cat hair. It becomes more about being able to trust yourself. And remember how much wisdom you gained from all that bullshit. You know what I mean? And that you're simply not going to handle things the same as you did before. Things have changed. You have changed. And the twos mean new beginnings. Yeah, I made that plural, fam, because right after I drew that Two of Swords, I drew the Two of Cups. Yeah. Make sure you're not blocking yourself off from love and emotions. And my favorite element of this card is not only how it like brings together possibly the High Priestess and the Fool, but this is a very harmonious and healthy relationship going on. Their vibe matching vibe. And this is mutual respect. This is mutual love. This is mutual creation. They're in it together, right? And underneath that, are you ready for this, fam? It's the freaking Ace of Pentacles. Boosh. How you like me now? You know what I mean? What? Are you kidding me right now? How's that for a new beginning, my little phoenix? Like, are you kidding me right now? The Pentacles are everything. The Pentacles are earth. They're what sustains you. These are new seeds, new ideas, new things for you to plant, served literally on a golden platter. This is a great time to be alive, my friend, right? So while we're taking this time, you know, you may still recall the conflicts of the past and how you handled them back then. But this person up front is smiling. There's a smirk going on. So if, you know, we're talking about conflict, we're talking about someone who's got the upper hand, hey-oh. But, you know, I like to think of this as the around and find out card, which, like the Two of Swords, it's another sword. It can go either way. It can mean, hey, you know what? If you wouldn't behave poorly around me, I wouldn't have to handle things accordingly like this because no. You know what I mean? But it can also be, I've been there and I've done that. Thank God I got it all figured out. Thank goodness I'm at this point now where I can look back and see the different tears, you know, the different points of my life and the growth that you've gone through, right? Being able to look back and not getting caught up in emotions, but drawing the wisdom from these experiences. I feel like this card keeps coming up in these readings, fam. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? But you know what comes, since we're dealing with the swords and the mind, what do you think came up underneath that for the bottom row? I said, your power is incredible. You have been working on that intuition, building, like I was saying before, you've recognized that there's a point that you've reached within yourself where you're disposing of and removing all the layers and all the crap that you were fed when you were younger, before. Figuring out how to forgive yourself for the things you've done in the past, mistakes you made before you knew any better, mistakes you made when you were just looping through survival mode. And you are coming out the other side, blazing away. You know what I mean? Thriving, freaking thriving. Secure within yourself. This is quite a journey. And this is one of the best parts, right? Phoenix. As far as I'm concerned, this being referred to often as the Witch of the Tarot, she is on par with a magician. She is a master alchemist. The King and the Queen of Wands have been through a lot. And they have survived. They've come out the other side. He even has that salamander buddy. Like she has the black cat and eyes. Is it both the page and the knight? One or the other has salamanders on their outfit. Right? They're impervious to fire now. Who do you really think can best you at this point? Who is really capable of manipulating you at this point in your life? No one. You don't even have to see them to know that bullshit's trying to come. Like, nope. And my favorite thing about this card right now in this reading is what came below her, Miss Master Alchemist. Because I tend to think of the Three of Pentacles as co-creating with the divine. Foreshadowing. Remember I said that, please. So this is whatever you're working on right now with others. It is in harmony, right? So this, maybe you just started a new job. Maybe you've been there for a while. Whatever it is, because remember, the Pentacles are everything. They take time. That's that daily work, steady. You may not even be putting actual blood, sweat, and tears into it, but it's getting your focus. It's getting your dedication. This is your goal. This is your plan, and you are working on it, right? This is a suit that we have cards like the Eight of Pentacles, where they've left town. They're outside of town, just working on those pentacles like a blacksmith. You know what I mean? Focused mastery, right? This 3 is letting you know that whatever that is that you're working on is a very solid foundation. Did you hear that tap? What the heck was that? It wasn't the cats. They're laying down. It wasn't my mom. I take care of my mom. She's in the living room watching her TV. Whatever it is solid, and it's leading to prosperity. Whatever that means for the situation, right? Whether it's actual money or just, your legacy. No biggie fries. But we got a couple of reminders at the end here, okay, with the tarot. So the epilogue to this epic tale is the Death card, which speaks of all of that transformation. The battle is done. You are not actually the destroyer. And something about your intuition knows that this is a point in your life where, whoa, done. There is no more battle, right? There's no more battle to win. You're done. It's time to live. It's time to not worry about fighting. It's time to live. And on the bottom of the deck is the Seven of Wands, which can speak of standing your ground. This isn't a time to defer to others. This isn't a time to give up on your goals and your hopes and dreams. Whatever you're doing that your passions are lying with, Master Alchemist, stick to it. Stick up for yourself. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You are doing nothing wrong. Who do you truly answer to when you are on the top of the world? It looks like they're on top of the world. Oh my goodness, right? Now for the extra notes, fam, remember what I said earlier? You figured out, and I even wrote the magician on here. Damn. Okay, I didn't even notice that until just now. So for someone, also, maybe this is love. Maybe this is speaking about love for you. Maybe there's a good, healthy, harmonious relationship actually coming in, and you gotta fall in love, and they're only gonna have eyes for you. They're gonna show you that your daydreams of loyalty and care and harmony. So we got 2 cards from 2 different suits, at least, speaking of harmony, is real. My note there is loyalty. Bam. And on the bottom of that deck is lyrics from the Fleetwood Mac song, Go Your Own Way. Sometimes I feel like this takes us back takes us back to the beginning and just whoop, it's circuitous, it's not linear, right? Learning how to love at arm's length. So what if they're family? So what if you've known them since kindergarten? If they are toxic, if they are hurting you, it's okay to love at arm's length, right? Be sure it's not just your fears. It's not just triggers of the past, though, because that might happen. I feel like maybe because the 5 of Swords came up technically after I drew the 2 of Cups, maybe that can speak on triggers. But I want you, when you do feel a flutter or you meet someone new that could be just soul family, and that's all good either way, right? Soul family. Just question yourself. Be sure. Don't just cut people off, right? Make sure that you fully understand what's going on. And remember, don't handle things the way you did in survival mode. It's not the same anymore. Change has already occurred. And I keep saying, like, we're just getting our sea legs in this new chapter. You know what I mean? So much transformation has been going on, and it's all good, right? As long as we keep moving forward, we're always on the right path. And that's a heck of fam, come on. We not only have 2 2s, we also have these 2 buddies coming to hang out and literally handing you pentacles on a golden platter. And your intuition is on point. So you figure that out for yourself, and don't let anybody else tell you who you are, okay? Hurt hurts, and you are getting happy. And that's really all you need to do. Take the pressure off your shoulders, okay? You're doing an incredible job, my friend. Yay, look at this. Look at you. Holy crap, like boosh. I mean, this may not be a pond for, what is it? Lotus flowers and stuff, but I'm pretty sure you're pulling that off anyway. That's all I'm saying. Thank you so much for joining me here and keeping me company. I really appreciate it. And always remember that I believe in you.